This is the ever-famous Shackmeister Ale. This was created, Garrett Oliver, brewmaster from Brooklyn Brewery. We've always had a long-standing relationship with those guys for years in our company. One day Garrett and I sat out here and just talked about, we ate burgers and said, what would the perfect burger beer taste like? And then this was created, Shackmeister Ale. I've been working in restaurants since I was 13. That's all I've ever done in my life. I don't know what I'd ever do if I didn't work in restaurants. As a bagel shop baker when I was 13, and then I went to school and had various jobs all over the country. Worked with Marriott Hotel, Taco Fry Station at Chili's. I lived in Europe for a little while and studied in Paris. When I graduated from school, my first job was out in Aspen, Colorado, managing a Chart House restaurant, and did that for a while. Then that company moved me to Hawaii. I lived in Maui and managed another Chart House in Lahaina, Maui. And then at that time, I got island fever, moved to Seattle, and worked with the Canlis family out in Canlis Restaurant. Amazing restaurant out in Seattle, 60 years old. Had a close relationship with that family always. And then during that time, I met Danny Meyer. And I was from New York City, but I never wanted to live here. And I was skiing and surfing and hanging out on my kayak and all those great places I told you. It wasn't my vision to work in New York, but I met Danny Meyer and I said, you know, if I ever move back, something about that guy that I really just fell in love with. And a year and a half later, I decided to move back to New York, and Danny, when I was 24 years old, Danny made me the general manager of Tabla. And that was in the days of Tabla's, you know, Tabla had such an amazing run of 13 years. I was there in that first 4 years, and it was incredibly hot. You know, you couldn't find a table in Tabla. And then Danny moved me over to Union Square Cafe, ran that for a couple years. And then I was director of operations for our company, for all USHG, working with all of our restaurants, one of which was this little burger joint behind me here. Shake Shack started as an accident, you know, so we didn't intend to do this. When we decided, let's see if we can do a second, I came on board as one of the owners of Shake Shack, and I've focused solely on that for the last 3.5, 4 years, and now I'm the CEO of Shake Shack, focusing on the growth and opportunities we have to grow a real special brand there. Met him almost 14 years ago, and he's been an incredible mentor to me and so many people in our company. I mean, what I tell people is, you read about Danny as this amazing guy. It's all true and more, which is the coolest part about it. He's the most humble, long-term thinker who allows us to operate our businesses in the way that they need to be operated. He's a coach. He's an incredible leader, and you know, I can't imagine who else I'd want to work for. Danny's just a great guy. And I knew that the minute I met him 14 years ago when I was a 22-year-old kid, and he agreed to give me 10 minutes of time in what was the construction site of 11 Madison Park. He sat with me and he just basically said, what do you want? You know, and I said, I don't know, I'm just a kid. I want to know what makes you so great, sir. And we hit it off. In that 10-minute meeting, he turned into 45. And a year and a half later, I'm working for him. And 12 years later, I'm running a big part of our company. And I'm really lucky to have gotten a chance to meet Danny early in my life. I think you got to do breakfast. I'm biased because it's our company, but I think Maialino has one of the best breakfasts in the world. You start with a porchetta sandwich at Maialino with some seared bacon. Oh man, that's a good way to do it. Lunch, I'm going to come to the Shack. You know, I got to have a burger. But if you count that out and I got to do something else, oh boy, that's tough. Let me come back to that. At dinner, you know, I spent my life in fine dining restaurants. I generally tried not to go to fine dining. I love going to little places in the village, like Mary's Fish Can, you know, little tiny Homa Prune, you know, little cool places that are doing special, different food that's just super comfortable. I'll probably come back to the Shack and end it with a concrete. So many things. Number one, I'd say it's our team. You know, I just went in there to get this beer and this wine for us, right? And just seeing those guys who are working so hard, especially in this restaurant that's a tight little 400 square foot space, I'm amazed at how hard people work. One of the things we did years ago at the creation of the second shack was we said every month we're going to give back up to 1% of our total revenue to the team that works at that shack. So the whole company at Shake Shack gives away 1% of sales to the hourly team. And it is, so they're psyched to be busy, you know, and you know, I've seen people who have started making $8 or $9 an hour and grown into managers and grown into general managers who've had families while working at Shake Shack. And, you know, that inspires me most. If I can go home and one person says, that guy made my life better in some way today, then I'm a pretty happy guy. I say that's the ultimate. And then it's going to be my kids and my family who do it. My wife, 3 amazing kids, so I live in New York City with. And I'm just so lucky to get fired up by them. Even when it's the toughest day ever, if the worst thing happened, you go home and hang with my kids. There's nothing better.